My dull gay relationship with my closeted boss suddenly turned interesting when I started dating his boss. I dialed the same number for the 10th time that night, hoping for a response, but I was once again met with voicemail. When I checked the time, it was 10 minutes to midnight and Aaron was not here yet. He promised me that he would be there at 8, but the calls were not getting through. All I could do at that point was turn on the lights, blow out the candles, and start cleaning up the room. I could not believe that I spent hours decorating that room when he was never going to come. What a happy anniversary it was. The food had gotten cold and my mood had turned sour. Nothing could lift my mood. I did not even feel like eating anymore. Instead, I changed my clothes and went to bed while doing my best not to cry. Crying was not going to make my boyfriend act right. Lately, he had been so flaky and cold toward me, and I was disappointed nearly every time we hung out. When I suggested we break up, he would make excuses and act like the victim. Each time he got through to me, and I stayed because apparently I made him feel a way no one had ever made him feel before. All the sneaking around and lying to the people closest to him was affecting him, and he just needed me to be his safe space. So I was his safe space because despite all the pain he caused me, I loved him despite everything. I had said the words to him many times before, but he never said them back. I never pressured him into saying them back. I figured that he just needed time. He always needed time, and for me to make arrangements for him, frankly, I was getting tired of it by now. Missing our 1-year anniversary and not even sending a message was by far one of the most hurtful things he could have done. I went to sleep a bit annoyed, and by the morning, my mood had not improved. I got ready for work and did not even check my phone. As soon as I got there, I closed myself in my office and focused on working. I ignored texts I got because I knew it was him with some stupid excuse. Later that afternoon, I got a notification about a briefing from my boss and I sighed begrudgingly. Just great, my day gets better, I muttered to myself as I gathered my stuff and made my way to his office. I knocked once and entered my boss's office. He was sitting there looking quite unimpressed. Who knew what his problem was since I got there in time? I was also pissed off due to how my night had gone, therefore I was uninterested in dealing with anyone's moods. I sat down and started briefing him on our current project. Once I was done, I waited for feedback. He paused for a second before he said, "All good. I will notify you if I need anything." I stood up as soon as he said this, but he put a hand up to stop me. "I did not say you could go. Why aren't you answering my texts?" he asked. I rolled my eyes so far back that I could have seen my brain. "Peter, there is no need to be so childish," Aaron said to me in the most condescending tone ever. "I have no idea what you are talking about. I have responded to all your messages today. Can I go now? Sir, I have a client to attend to." I smiled fakely and started gathering my stuff. "Babe, please hear me out. I am sorry about last night." His voice became more humble and his eyes were pleading. "You are always sorry, Aaron, and do not call me babe at work. You really want to risk everyone finding out?" I reminded him. I tried so hard to control my temper, even though I was close to losing it. "I couldn't get out of a family thing last night. I am sorry," he explained. "You are 39 years old. You should be able to make an excuse to get away. Or, if you cannot, a text would have been appreciated. And I waited for you all night and you never showed up," I shouted. His eyes widened and he motioned for me to keep it down. "Let me make it up to you tonight. I'm sorry, babe," he pleaded. His sorrowful eyes tugged at my heart and I found myself melting. I knew my friends were going to be mad at me for this, but I decided to give him another chance. "Fine, but you plan everything. I am not putting in all that work for nothing again," I told him. "Now come here for a kiss," he smiled, eyes disappearing due to how wide his smile was. My heart melted and of course I went to give him a kiss. Usually we were against PDA at work, but in that moment neither of us cared because we missed each other so much. Having a secret relationship was difficult. First of all, he was my boss, and secondly, he was closeted. It was not an issue for me in the beginning because we started off as friends with benefits. One night, we went out with work colleagues and had a little bit too much to drink. We ended up spending the night at my house since it was near. All night, he had been giving me sensual looks, but I was unsure what they meant since I knew he was straight. Once we were alone, he made his intentions very clear. We slept together and did not talk about it again. The next weekend, he asked to sleep at my house again, and it happened again. This time, he was barely drunk. I found him extremely attractive, so I indulged him. At work, we acted like nothing happened at all. I figured that after the second time, it would not happen again, but I was wrong. One night, he sent me a time and an address for a motel, just out of town. Curiosity got the better of me, and I went. He told me that he was unsure about his sexuality, but wanted to see how things went. We did this for a while, but feelings were caught. He started sending me good morning and good night texts, and our pillow talk got deeper. Slowly but surely, all the rules I made for myself were broken. Rule number 1, never be a straight man's experiment. And rule number 2, never fall for a friend with benefit. He told me that he felt a deeper connection with me and wanted to explore it. He started to spoil me, see me every weekend, and refer to me using endearments. One day he called me his boyfriend, and it just stuck. I was in love and optimistic that we were only going to go up from there, but I was wrong. Things started to change. Promises he made were broken, and the passion died out. We began to see each other less and less with time. He told me that he was always busy and left me hanging when we made plans. With time, this upset me, and I considered just breaking up with him. When I did, he got emotional and told me that he cared too much about me to let me go. All of his words meant nothing compared to how he treated me. All of my friends told me that he was using me, but I did not listen. Now, I was stuck in this limbo with no idea how to get out. All I knew was that I had left my heart unguarded and loved him a lot. Later that night, I met him in yet another motel. As soon as I got there, he kissed me passionately and pulled me toward the bed. "Whoa, you didn't even greet me," I protested. "I know, but I missed you," he chuckled as he kissed my neck. Usually my body responded to his, but that night everything felt so cold. All I could feel was disdain for him. Was I just a toy for him to use and discard as he pleased? I pushed him away from me and for a second looked around. There was no anniversary gift in sight. It was just like any other night we spent together. Nothing special, just a secret night away. It bothered me that we could not even go for dinner together without him panicking. Aaron noticed my absent-mindedness and asked, "Everything okay?" "You can't even take me on a proper date. I don't even know why I do this with you. I did so much for you yesterday and all I get is a motel room?" I asked. Suddenly his eyes lit up. "Don't think that I forgot your gift, my dear. I have something for you," he said. Then he reached into his pocket. He took out a box and handed it to me. I felt my blood rushing due to excitement as I opened the box. My eyes widened when I saw this simple but beautiful chain inside the box. The chain had a pendant that had the letters A and P. My eyes watered at the realization that he did something so meaningful for me. "Oh, babe, this is so beautiful," I gushed happily. "I hate that I can't publicly date you, but know that I care about you. This is a sign of my commitment to you that you can wear it anywhere you want. Only the two of us will know the meaning," he said so genuinely that my heart melted into a puddle. I forgot everything that was troubling me and focused on him. "Will you put it on me?" I asked and smiled. "Yes, of course. I ordered some food for us, but tomorrow we are going out for breakfast since it's a weekend," he announced. "But babe, what if people see us?" I asked, panicking. "We are going to a place that no one knows about. We will be fine. I want to prove to you that I appreciate you so much," he reassured me. All concerns I had disappeared and I focused on him. Okay. "Now, let me give you your present," I said as I took out the spa voucher I bought for him. He loved to take care of himself, thus I got it for him. "You are so sweet, Peter. I have been craving a spa visit lately," he beamed as he kissed me. The rest of the evening was spent rekindling our romance. That night, I was convinced that things would only get better between the both of us. Any relationship faced hurdles, and we were not the only ones. A month later, I often hear that things get worse before they get better, but in my case, it was the complete opposite. For us, things got better before they got worse. We were a testament to that a month after our anniversary. With renewed trust in him, I had fallen deeper for him and did not mind the secrecy that much anymore. I told myself that one day he would be brave enough to claim me. I dreamt about that day. Maybe my wishes got twisted because When he was given the opportunity to claim me, he denied our love in front of everyone. You can imagine just how shattered I was. I saw a side of him that I never knew existed, one that was cold and unfeeling, obsessed with preserving his reputation even if it meant throwing me under the bus. What happened was that we slipped up a few times at work and someone got suspicious. This person ended up telling other people who kept a close eye on us. When my coworkers noticed my necklace, it was over for us. That was the confirmation they needed that I was dating him. With time, the rumors got to us and eventually HR was involved. When we got called in, I was extremely nervous and unsure what to say. I decided to stick to our initial plan, which was to deny everything. I did not want to risk his career like that. He went first, then it was my turn. "You can tell us your side of the story when you are ready," William said. He was one of our supervisors. I stuck to the plan and said, "The rumors are not true. Aaron and I are not dating." Everyone looked at each other and gave a knowing look, then another woman carried on the interrogation. "You are openly gay, correct?" she asked. "Yes," I answered skeptically. "There is no problem with that. We pride ourselves in being inclusive, but that does not mean we accept harassment in the workplace." She dropped the bomb. I was incredibly shattered when I realized what had happened. Unable to utter a word in my defense, I froze as she carried on. "Aaron has reported you for harassment and making unwanted advances at him. Is this true?" she asked. "I would never do that to him. Is that what he is saying?" My voice cracked. How could he throw me under the bus like I was nothing? "So you claim that you are in a relationship with him. Do you have proof?" William asked. I had everything I needed to prove our relationship, but I hesitated. Aaron was not ready to face the world as a gay man. He must have been scared when he got questioned. I did not believe in outing a person no matter what, so at that moment I decided to protect him. "I think that he misunderstood my intentions. I was not interested in him like that," I answered. "We will deliberate. You may go back to work," William said. I complied and went back to the office. On my way out, everyone stared at me with equal curiosity and disdain. I had no idea what to even do with myself. When my eyes locked with Aaron's, he looked away. I did not even want to see him. He could have just denied the relationship. There was no need to throw me under the bus. That was the last straw when it came to our relationship. He always put himself first and could never love me the way I loved him. This was the wake-up call I needed. I realized that this was probably going to be my last month here. Upon realizing this, I went back to my desk and immersed myself in work. When I got a break, I blocked him on his personal number. I was not even going to give him a chance to sweet-talk me so that he could save himself. There was no way I was going to allow him to touch me after what he did to me. I worked till late that day just so that I did not have to interact with anyone from the office. The next day, I was sitting in the courtyard alone during the undesirable lunch break when William, Aaron's boss, approached me. "Hey, Peter, glad to see you out of the office even though you took the least popular lunch break," he said as he sat across from me. "Haven't you heard that I'm the new social pariah?" I chuckled bitterly. His face turned compassionate, and he held my hand. "I think that there's more to the story than what you told HR, he said. I pulled my hand away and started to pack my food away. "He is gay, isn't he said, and I'd stopped in my tracks. "I do not feel comfortable talking about this," I responded. "It takes one to know one. I've always known he was gay. I got my confirmation when I saw him on a gay dating site. He did not show his face, but he wore his favorite tie. When I messaged him, he quickly unmatched, and we never spoke about it. This was about a month ago," he frantically shared with me. I froze at that part. We had been together for a year. There was no way he was on a dating site looking for another person. "It must have been someone else. Aaron and I dated for a year," I protested, but quickly realized my confession. "I was actually hoping for your help. There is something I suspect him of, and I just need to ask a few questions," William carried on. "Okay, what is it?" I asked. William and I sat there for the rest of the lunch break discussing his suspicions, and he told me his plan. I was inclined to help him, especially after finding out that Aaron had no honest bone in his body. Who knew how many times he cheated on me when we were in a relationship? Maybe that was why he became distant. I wanted to burn the ground he walked on the more I thought about it. William and I ended up continuing our discussion later on that night and came up with a plan for me to get back at Aaron for what he did to me. The plan also served the purpose of distracting Aaron while William did his investigation. What he was accusing Aaron of was not something small. It was something that had the potential to destroy the entire company. With the information I gave him, he was 90% certain that Aaron was guilty. That's how all the scheming began. The first step was to get me cleared of the accusations. William worked extra hard to sway HR so that they would transfer me to another department. This part was imperative for the rest of our plan to work. We waited a month before implementing the next phase. A month later. During that month, I helped William investigate Aaron. William was quite certain that Aaron was stealing money from the company and using it for his own expenses. He needed Aaron to slip up, and we had the perfect plan. William and I started to sit together at lunch. We never left each other's side, and it always looked like we were having a good conversation. Not only that, but we started to spend time together outside the office and posted on our stories. This got the gossip mongers curious about what was going on between us. Since William was openly gay, they started to assume that we were dating, and we did not deny it. In fact, we decided to inform HR of the recent development in our relationship. During this whole time, Aaron was trying to talk to me, but I ignored him. The only time I spoke to him was when it was about work. Since I was no longer in his department, there was very rare occurrences where I interacted with him. One afternoon, William sent me a text. "Hey, what are you doing this evening? We've been invited out for drinks. I think that they want to probe us and see if we really are dating." I grinned when I read the text and replied, "Of course I would love to. This is the perfect time to confirm the rumors." "Aaron was there when I was asked to join tonight, and he looked very eager to hear my answer," William responded. "I see. It appears that this is affecting him. Are you ready to take things up a notch?" I asked him. He sent me a thumbs up emoji, and I knew it was game on. Later that evening, as soon as William and I entered the bar, we were inseparable. We put on quite a show. We held each other's hands and exchanged some pecks. The whole time Aaron was looking at us with a murderous expression on his face. Eventually, he could not do it anymore and asked if I could have a talk with him. "Can we please step aside for a conversation, Peter?" Aaron asked softly. I nodded and discreetly left with him. William noticed this and winked at me. As soon as we stepped outside, he whispered, "What the hell are you playing at?" "I don't know what you're talking about," I responded innocently. "Do not treat me like I'm stupid. Since when have you been dating William? Were you cheating on me all along?" His voice sounded annoyed. I looked him up and down, and then I laughed. His facial expression showed his insecurity, which delighted me even further. William and I have grown close over the past month. He has helped me to heal my broken heart. He loves me publicly like you never could, I bragged. He practically sneered at me and then said, "I've always treated you well. What does he do for you that I did not?" My response was simple. "He actually loves me. He is sure about me. That is something you will never do." Suddenly his eyes got teary as he said in a broken voice, "All I ever wanted was to show you that I loved you. I tried to compensate for the fact that I could not love you publicly by spoiling you and making sure you had everything you ever needed. You have no idea the sacrifices I've made for you." I could not believe my ears. Was he about to confess to what William suspected him of? If that was the case, then I was in luck. It was a good thing that I had pressed record on my voice recorder before we went outside. I needed any evidence I could get that Aaron was breaking company policy. My next move was to get closer to him to watch his reaction to my proximity. I could tell that he still wanted me, so I used that desire to get what I wanted. "I don't think there's anything you can say which will make me believe you. What could you have possibly done that I'm unaware of?" I whispered as I stared intensely into his eyes. He touched my cheek and said in the weakest pathetic voice, "I stole money from the company just to spoil you. That chain I bought you cost me $5,000. I thought by doing that I could keep you." My eyes widened at this confession. I had no idea it was this bad. "But I never wanted you for your money. All I wanted was your love," I responded. Those words were not a lie. They were the harrowing truth. I felt tears burning my eyes as I realized that this was probably going to be our last conversation. He grabbed my hand and held it tightly. His eyes pleaded. I wondered why. For a shot? But how could I give him another shot when all he did was lie, cheat, and deny me in front of everyone? Maybe deep down he loved me, but he sure had a funny way of showing it. Before I could say anything else, he leaned in and kissed me so quickly that I thought I imagined it. When I opened my eyes, he was gone. I took out my phone and switched off the voice recorder. When I went back into the bar, He had taken his coat and was heading out the other exit, and William had a puzzled expression on his face. 3 days later, William and I stayed at the pub for a couple more minutes before we left. As soon as we left, I played the recording. He told me that he had found some circumstantial evidence of Aaron stealing money from the company and that the confession was the nail in the coffin. He informed me that over the weekend, he would compile everything and speak to the HR. William estimated that by Monday, Aaron would be fired. The weekend was quite stressful for me. I could not stop thinking about how I stood in front of Aaron and got that confession out of him. I was saddened because I still loved him deeply. Unfortunately, he had chosen his path. I convinced myself that our relationship being over was actually a blessing in disguise. Our breaking up led to me finding out the truth about him. If I was still with him when information about his theft got out, I would have easily been implicated. I thought back to all of those expensive gifts he bought me and the luxurious hotels he sometimes booked for us. I never questioned it since he made more money than me, but now it was starting to make sense. Maybe he thought that by spoiling me, he would keep me? Unfortunately, that was not the case because he ended up losing me anyway. On Monday, the office was buzzing with news of Aaron's disciplinary hearing. When I went to Aaron's office, he was not there. William was also not answering his phone, so I waited. Several hours later, I saw Aaron walking out of the building with his box of belongings. As he was leaving, we locked eyes. He looked down sadly and then carried on his way. I expected him to say something to me, but he looked quite beaten. Part of me felt sorry for him, but I knew that he had brought this upon himself. One cannot be dishonest and expect a reward for that. By the end of the day, the entire office knew what had happened. I kept quiet during the discourse. The entire situation had taken all of my energy. All I wanted to do was get through the day and go home to rest. Before leaving for the day, William texted me. He said he was very grateful that I helped him catch the person stealing money from the company. He wanted to thank me and suggest dinner. I told him that I was a bit tired and just wanted to watch some movies and eat some snacks. He informed me that there was a new comedy that had come out recently, which he wanted to check out. He was going to watch it alone at his place, so he invited me. He further enticed me with snacks and drinks. It was a good offer, so I agreed to watch the movie with him. Later that evening, spending time with him was very nice. The movie was actually good and we laughed a lot. It was nice to spend time with someone and not have to be worrying about Aaron. This was also the first time we were not holding a strategy meeting against Aaron. We finished watching the movie and ended up just sitting and chatting. "So how did you feel today when he left?" William asked me. To be honest, I had mixed emotions. I'm still very angry with him after what he did, but part of me loves him a lot, I responded. He squeezed my hand and leaned in for a hug. We stayed like that for what seemed to be hours. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I started to cry. Sadness I had no idea was inside me seemed to consume me. Instead of pushing me away, he held me tighter. "It is okay. Feel it," he whispered. His kind words and warm embrace did a lot to improve my mood, and eventually I was silent. "Just know that I am here for you no matter what. I have gotten to know you over the past couple of months, and I know you are a good person. You love purely, and not everyone can see that." He did not see that, but one day someone will. He smiled, and my heart warmed. Suddenly, I had the urge to kiss him come over me, and I could not fight it. All I needed were his lips to help me forget. He did not push me back. Instead, he indulged me in that desire that I sought. A small flame turned into a burning bush that could not be extinguished. Our bodies craved each other, and we decided to let go of control. "We should not be doing this," he whispered in between breaths, but pulled me close. "You are right," I smirked as I got started on his neck. This went on for a minute longer before he pushed me back. Suddenly, I was back to reality and realized what I had just done and was not certain how badly I messed up. His cheeks were flushed and he was out of breath. When he finally spoke, "Trust me. I want to do this, but I cannot be a rebound." "William, I don't see you as a rebound. I am genuinely attracted to you. You are kind, handsome, and have protected me when no one did," I protested. "I understand, but right now you are emotional. I do not want you to make impulse choices," he explained. "I understand," I said as I looked down shamefully. "Yes, but you know what? I really want to see how things go, but only when you are healed," he responded. His words calmed me down, and I understood his reasoning. We decided to put on another movie and stayed up a bit longer. We went on to have the most chilled night ever. After we finished watching movies, it was pretty late and he would not let me drive. He allowed me to sleep in his guest room. The next morning, we arrived at work together. Since people still thought we were dating, it was not out of the blue. We decided to carry on the ruse that we were dating for a bit longer until we figured out how we felt about each other. I was still very determined to ask him out as soon as I felt that I was ready. Sure enough, I asked him out about a month later, and he actually said yes. We had a dinner date in public that went extremely well. Since we already had an initial connection, we just built upon it. We decided to take things slow and not rush them. William and I ended up officially dating. Aaron struggled to find another job because his reputation was ruined. Last I heard, he had to take a lower paying job in another city. As far as I know, he's still in the closet. Meanwhile, I have a loving boyfriend who isn't scared to declare his love for me in front of the whole damn world. Have you ever been in a secret relationship? The end. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to become part of our Rainbow Force, and stay wholesome.